Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the B segment of episode 12 of Codename Kids Next Door, Operation R.A.I.N.B.O.W.S. We begin this segment with number 3 standing among a crowd of excited kids outside of a Rainbow Monkey store. A man named Mr. Mogul and his assistant Simon exit the Rainbow Monkey store, and Mr. Mogul assures the crowd that new rainbow monkeys are being delivered to the store and they should arrive within the hour. But number 3 smells something coming from crates that are being unloaded from a nearby delivery truck. And number 3 heads to the crates and opens them, revealing that the new rainbow monkeys have already arrived. And number 3 graciously shares the new rainbow monkeys with her fellow rainbow monkey fans. Simon is rather frustrated by number 3's actions, but Mr. Mogul isn't angered in the slightest bit. Quite the contrary, he's rather impressed that number 3 was able to smell the rainbow monkeys, and Mr. Mogul suspects that number 3 could be the individual that could help him with something important. He then tells Simon that he wants number 3 on board by tomorrow morning, and then he encourages Simon to join him in evil laughter, before he eventually tells Simon to be quiet, and Simon complies. The next day rolls around and the sun is starting to rise, so the Sector V operatives of the kids next door are still asleep in their respective rooms in the Sector V treehouse. But number 3 wakes up when she smells a rainbow monkey, and she finds one on the balcony just outside of her room. But the rainbow monkey toy actually jumps on top of number 3's head, and the rainbow accessory on top of the rainbow monkey toy's head starts to spin around like helicopter blades. So this rainbow monkey toy is capable of flight, and it lifts number 3 up in the air and towards a flying vehicle that's shaped like a giant rainbow monkey. While this is happening, the other Sector V operatives are waking up and preparing to have breakfast, unaware of the current situation with number 3. Eventually, the flying rainbow monkey toy takes number 3 inside of the flying vehicle, and she's greeted by Mr. Mogul and Simon. Mr. Mogul not only introduces himself, but he also reveals that he's the president of Rainbow Monkeys Incorporated, which number 3 is very impressed by. She also introduces herself by her first name, Kuki, although she does add that her friends call her number 3. Mr. Mogul says that as the president of Rainbow Monkeys Incorporated, one of his greatest dreams in life is to find real rainbow monkeys, and number 3 is happily surprised to hear that the rainbow monkey toys are based off of real animals. Mr. Mogul adds, though, that they're very rare to find, and that's why he needs number 3's help. He needs her ability to smell rainbow monkeys in order to find the real rainbow monkeys. Number 3 questions Mr. Mogul about why he wants to find the real rainbow monkeys, and Mr. Mogul claims that he wants to give them a residual check, which number 3 believes. So number 3 agrees to help Mr. Mogul find the real rainbow monkeys. Looking over a map and showing the map to the pilot of the flying vehicle, the group of individuals are eventually able to find Rainbow Monkey Island. Both number 3 and Mr. Mogul are awestruck by the sight of the island. They both comment that it's a beautiful sight. So eventually the flying vehicle does arrive at Rainbow Monkey Island, and number 3, Mr. Mogul and Simon venture out into the jungle to find the real rainbow monkeys. Number 3 picks up on the scent of a real rainbow monkey, and she begins to follow the scent, with Mr. Mogul and Simon following behind her. Eventually, they do come across a real rainbow monkey, but it's hidden in the shadows of the nearby trees. But number 3 assures the real rainbow monkey that they want to be friends, and questions if the real rainbow monkey would like to be friends too. And the real rainbow monkey does step out of the shadows and into the light. So the real rainbow monkeys do look like, they look closer to real life monkeys compared to their toy counterparts. But the other difference about the real rainbow monkeys compared to the toys is that the real rainbow monkeys actually constantly change color. So every time we see a real rainbow monkey on screen, the real rainbow monkey's color is continuously changing. So they really do live up to their name of rainbow monkeys. So number 3 hugs the real rainbow monkey, and then suddenly more real rainbow monkeys appear around them. It's not made clear exactly if the real rainbow monkeys have the power of invisibility or not, but regardless, more real rainbow monkeys are now visible on screen right now. Mr. Mogul begins to laugh, and when number 3 questions him about what's so funny, Mr. Mogul responds that number 3 is what's so funny, and then he activates a button on a remote control, which causes a net to appear and capture number 3 and the real rainbow monkeys. Mr. Mogul admits he doesn't want to give the real rainbow monkeys a residual check, and he clarifies no, he doesn't plan to give them cash either when number 3 guesses that. And we, the audience, don't actually get to hear what Mr. Mogul's real motive for finding the real rainbow monkeys is. All we do see is that he whispers it to number 3. So we don't get to hear it, but all we have to go on is number 3's reaction. And based off of her reaction, it's apparently not a very pleasant thing that he plans to do with them. And Mr. Mogul gives number 3 a rainbow monkey toy to keep her company for putting her in a cage, because he has the real rainbow monkeys put in cages on the flying vehicle, and number 3 is put into a cage as well so that she won't interfere. So he gave her the rainbow monkey toy to keep her company in the cage. But while she's in the cage, number 3 apologizes to the real rainbow monkeys for being tricked into getting them into trouble, but she assures them that she'll figure out a way to get them out of trouble. And then she realizes that the rainbow monkey toy that she has with her actually is one that's capable of flying, like the rainbow monkey toy that brought her onto the flying vehicle in the first place. So she activates the helicopter blades of this rainbow monkey toy, and she uses the blades to break open the bars of the cage. And not just for her own cage, but she does this for the cages of the real rainbow monkeys as well. And while she's doing this, Mr. Mogul, Simon, and the pilot are all gloating about how they were able to trick number 3. And Mr. Mogul whispers his true motives for wanting to find the real rainbow monkeys to the pilot. So once again, we, the audience, don't know what he really plans to do with the real rainbow monkeys. But after the gloating, they notice that the door to the room with the cages has been opened, and number 3 steps into the control room of the flying vehicle. But then suddenly, the real rainbow monkeys start to appear in the room as well, and they're able to overpower the trio of Mr. Mogul, Simon, and the pilot. So eventually, the trio are forced to retreat, and they retreat in an inflatable lifeboat, and number 3 ends up taking control of the flying vehicle, bringing it back to Rainbow Monkey Island so the real rainbow monkeys can return to their home. Back at the Sector V treehouse, number 1 questions where number 3 is during breakfast, and number 5 explains that number 3 was talking about acquiring some more rainbow monkey accessories. Number 4 grumbles about this, saying that number 3 probably has every rainbow monkey accessory imaginable right now. But then they hear something outside, and when the the 4 other Sector V operatives look out the window, they see number 3 with the flying vehicle, and number 3 excited about having the flying vehicle now. And number 4 says to himself, it looks like number 3 didn't have every rainbow monkey accessory beforehand. So that's how we end this segment. So while some fans might make the argument that Operation Ice Cream could be considered a number 3 spotlight appearance, this segment, Operation Rainbows, is much more explicitly a number 3 spotlight appearance, and it has to do with rainbow monkeys, which number 3 is a big fan of. This was addressed back in Operation Office. Yes, Operation Office was when the rainbow monkey toys first appeared, and number 3 was shown to be a fan of them, although this segment highlights number 3 being a fan of the rainbow monkeys much more compared to Operation Office. And going forward in the series, we'll be seeing more of number 3 being a fan of rainbow monkeys. Yes, Mr. Mogul not being on the up and up didn't sour her impression of the rainbow monkey toys. And I guess part of that has to do with, she really does like rainbow monkeys, both the toys and the real rainbow monkeys, which we do see. And speaking of Mr. Mogul, Mr. Mogul is another example of a villain who has one major appearance, but then goes on to have just cameo appearances in group shots with villain meetings in the future. So this is Mr. Mogul's only major appearance in the series, but it really stands out for Mr. Mogul because you could say Mr. Mogul is an example of a minor major character. For those unfamiliar with that particular trope, a minor major character is a character who's a character who is a major character within the context of the setting of the story, but is considered a minor character within the context of the narrative of the story. So to bring up Mr. Mogul as an example of this trope, Mr. Mogul is the president of Rainbow Monkeys Incorporated, which is Rainbow Monkeys Incorporated is very prevalent within the setting of the Codename Kids Next Door universe. But within the narrative, Mr. Mogul himself is only has a major appearance within this segment, Operation Rainbows, even though Rainbow Monkeys continue to play a prevalent role throughout the rest of the story. So that's essentially what a minor major character is. Mr. Mogul is important within the setting of the Codename Kids Next Door story, but he's not a major player. He's a pretty minor player when you look at the narrative of the Codename Kids Next Door story. So hopefully that clears it up for anyone who was unaware of the trope beforehand. So otherwise, we do get to see Rainbow Monkey Island as well, and this isn't the only time that we see Rainbow Monkey Island. So Rainbow Monkey Island will return again in later entries in the series, and this won't be the only time that we see real rainbow monkeys as well. And there is at least one real rainbow monkey I can think of that looks closer to the toy counterparts, whereas the real rainbow monkeys we saw in this segment look different from the toy counterparts. There is at least one I can think of that resembles the toy counterparts more closely, and I believe that segment is in Season 3, if I'm not mistaken, so we'll cross that bridge when we eventually get to it. But yes, this isn't the last we've seen of the real rainbow monkeys or their home of Rainbow Monkey Island. Otherwise now, this is the last segment of Season 1. We have one more episode of Season 1 left. The Season 1 finale is a full episode, so yes, this is the last segment of Season 1 of Codename Kids Next Door. And I did think it was great that we were able to have a more explicit number 3 spotlight appearance with this segment. And we got to learn a little bit more about Rainbow Monkeys as a whole, both the toys, the accessories, and the real animals that inspired the toys and accessories. Well, real within the context of the Kids Next Door universe, but you get what I mean, I'm sure. So otherwise, I believe that's it for this particular segment. So As of this video, we've now discussed the B segment of episode 12 of Codename Kids Next Door on this channel. Take care, and until next time,